Hi guys, today we're going to make a beautiful and delicious gâteau opéra. In a previous video that I made many years ago, I also made a gâteau opéra and it was actually one of my most watched videos ever. So I thought, why not make a new one? But this time we're going to bring it to the next level. A gâteau opéra always has multiple layers and we're going to make a coffee praline whipped ganache with a chocolate biscuit, a coffee and chocolate ganache, some chocolate mousse, a chocolate glaze and a beautiful chocolate tuile. So, let's begin.
First, let's make the coffee syrup. Mix 250 grams of sugar with 50 grams of water and caramelize this on a medium heat. Then while stirring, add 250 grams of water and bring it to a boil once more. Now pour it in a preserving jar and add 40 grams of coffee beans. Close it up and let it marinate in your fridge for at least 1 day. Then for the coffee praline, mix 200 grams of sugar with 50 grams of water and caramelize this till golden. Now add 160 grams of hazelnuts and caramelize it for another 2 minutes. Then add 1 vanilla pod and 20 grams of coffee beans. Caramelize it for another minute and then transfer it on some parchment paper. Now let it cool down completely. Then transfer it into a wet grinder and grind it into a smooth praline. You can also blend this in a blender, but it's not going to be as smooth. Once it's smooth, pour it in a bowl.
Now for the whipped praline ganache. For that first soak 1½ leaves or 2½ grams of gelatin in cold water.
Then pour 60 grams of cream into a saucepan together with 20 grams of milk and 60 grams of the coffee praline. Now while stirring, bring this to a boil. Then dissolve the gelatin and add 70 grams of white chocolate. Emulsify this.
Once the ganache is emulsified, transfer it into a bowl and add 140 grams of cold cream.
Now blend this for 15 seconds and then let it set in your fridge for at least 5 hours. Then for the chocolate biscuit, mix 70 grams of egg with 25 grams of icing sugar, 60 grams of almond powder, 2 grams of salt, 15 grams of cocoa powder and 25 grams of butter.
Now blend this till smooth.
Then transfer it into a bowl.
Now pour 45 grams of egg white in a mixer and start beating it.
Once a white foam starts to form, add 40 grams of sugar and continue beating till it's completely stiff. Then add the meringue to the cocoa mix and fold everything together. Now pour it on a silicone sheet and spread it. Bake it at 180 degrees Celsius for 15 minutes. Then let it cool down and gently remove the silicone sheet. Now cut it with a baking ring. Mine is 16 centimeters.
Now for the coffee ganache. For that first, transfer 80 grams of sugar in a saucepan.
Also add 10 grams of glucose syrup and 20 grams of water. Caramelize this till golden. Then turn off the heat and while stirring add 20 grams of cream, 60 grams of espresso and 60 grams of dark chocolate. Now set aside for later. Then transfer the praline ganache into a mixing bowl and beat it for around 2 minutes till stiff peaks have formed. Now transfer it into a piping bag that's fitted with a round nozzle. Then take the baking ring and place 1 chocolate biscuit on the bottom. Brush it with some chocolate syrup and then pipe the whipped ganache on top. Spread this. Then pour half of the ganache on the whipped ganache and then repeat the process once more. So first the biscuit, then the syrup, the whipped ganache and the normal ganache. Now let it set in your freezer. Once it's frozen, remove the baking ring and then keep it in your freezer for later.
Now for the chocolate mousse. For that first soak 1.6 grams or 1 leaf of gelatin in cold water.
Then pour 50 grams of cream into a saucepan and bring it to a boil. Once it's boiling, dissolve the gelatin and add 90 grams of dark chocolate. Mix this and then transfer it into a bowl. Then mix 40 grams of sugar with 20 grams of water and heat this up till it's 118 degrees Celsius. Meanwhile, pour 50 grams of egg into a mixing bowl and start beating till stiff peaks have formed. Then add the hot sugar syrup to the beaten egg and continue mixing till it's at room temperature.
While the eggs are beating, pour 150 grams of cream into a bowl and start beating it until it's at yogurt thickness.
Now mix the egg mixture with the chocolate ganache.
Then add the whipped cream and gently fold this together.
Then take an 18 cm baking ring and place a coffee bean shaper on the side. All molds I use in this video I had designed and made by Mold Brothers. Find a link in the description of this video. Then pour the mousse in the baking ring and swipe the mousse to the side. Press the interior in the mousse and then let it set in your freezer. Now for the glaze. First soak 2 leaves or 3.3 grams of gelatin in cold water.
Then pour 60 grams of water in a saucepan and also add 70 grams of cream and 110 grams of sugar.
Now bring this to a boil. Once it's boiling, add 40 grams of cocoa powder and while mixing, boil it for 2 more minutes. Then dissolve the gelatin. Now pass it through a fine sieve and set aside for later. Then for the chocolate brush. First melt 100 grams of cocoa butter on a low heat. Once it's melted, add 100 grams of dark chocolate and mix it. Then pour it into a brush machine. After that, remove the baking ring and the shaper. Now brush a thin layer of the chocolate on the mousse. I always do this outside, because otherwise there will be chocolate everywhere. Then gently place the Gâteau opéra on a plate. Now place a smaller metal ring on top and pour your chocolate glaze in the middle. Remove the ring and then let it defrost completely.
Now for the chocolate decoration. For that, pour some chocolate on your worktop that's melted and at 45 degrees Celsius.
While mixing, cool it down till it's 29 degrees Celsius. Then pour it back into the bowl and mix everything till it's 31 degrees Celsius. Now pour it on the silicone mold and spread it. Then turn it around and press the top so it sticks to the silicone mold on the bottom. Now let it set for 15 seconds before removing the mold. Trust me, this is really difficult when the mold is this big and detailed, and it took me hours to get a decent result. So you can also make it tuile. For this, mix 25 grams of egg white with 25 grams of icing sugar, 25 grams of butter, 15 grams of flour and 10 grams of cocoa powder. Blend this till smooth. Then spread it on a silicone mold and bake it at 160 degrees Celsius for around 15 minutes till crispy. Once that's done, you can brush the tuile to protect it from getting soggy and it will almost look the same as with the chocolate. Now gently place it on the Gâteau opéra.
Okay guys, that's it for today. I must say it was a pretty long and difficult journey, but I'm really happy with the end result. Especially the chocolate on top was such a difficult task. That's why I did the tuile and I brushed it. It looks exactly the same, only it's less difficult. I did that technique before and it works really well, but this mold, it's just too big for it. But I'm not giving up. I'm gonna continue, and once I succeed, I will share it for sure. But for now, let's just dig in. So yeah, I can't wait to taste this. So let's just do it. Yeah, that's banging. The coffee flavor is really well balanced with the chocolate. It's not too heavy, but it is really powerful. Yeah, this is too good, really. The ganache is really nice. The whipped ganache is also, just everything. Super good. So yeah, that's it for today guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please let me know in the comments what you want to see next. Yeah, like and share the video and subscribe if you want to support my channel and see more amazing content like this. And as always, bon appetit!